Do you ever stop and ask yourself why we do the things we do? Why we make the choices we make in our lives? We get easily, well, it's Monday morning. Within the next couple of hours, people start waking up. Some will shower, they'll groom themselves, they'll stand in front of a mirror, they'll drink coffee. They go through certain rituals. Count on it. It's like it's written in stone. It's unchangeable, unbendable, at least in that little space of time and place. Because what people will do over here in the 21st century, people over here in the 19th century would be doing something else. And people in the 17th century, a totally different approach. Even though the physiological makeup is the same, they would drape their bodies with a different type of material, a different style of clothing. They would go about their daily routines in a different way. They would greet each other in a different way. They would live a different kind of life, even though the result they seek, all human beings seek, is to have food, to have water, to have shelter, to love, be loved, and be happy, to find peace. That's basically, isn't it? Isn't that what most of us seek? I've got a wide variety of acquaintances in my life. One is a singer, songwriter. Well, more than one. Performing for decades. It's their life. That's what they're known as. That's what they're known to do. Another actually throws bones and comes up with some meaning by the way these bones and a few other items mixed as they're thrown. The way they end up gives some meaning to them. Others have it with cards, with cardboard cards with different drawings on them. They shuffle them and deal them out in a certain way, and they find meaning from the way these cards are drawn, laid out. It gives them meaning. Others faithfully run to a building they call church every Sunday, 10 a.m., 2 p.m., whatever. They're there. This ritual of the music, the prayers, It gives a meaning. It gives some kind of hope. Others carry a little carpet several times a day, 5 times a day. They bow down, they kneel on this carpet and toward the east, and they find some meaning, some purpose in invoking some deity. For millions and millions, Monday morning comes around, they go through their rituals, shower, coffee, get dressed. Let's run off. They get trapped in traffic. They commute to this JOB. Never questioning why we do what we do. Is it for entertainment? Just to fill our time? I used to say killing time before time kills us. We're killing time. That's what we're doing. We're killing time, aren't we? Absolutely, we're killing time because we know inevitably time is going to kill us. So we find a way or ways to kill time. I have another acquaintance. There, I call them a friend, never met them face to face. Who spends their time pondering, thinking, and writing about beliefs they have in previous lives. A focus on what happened a century ago or 3 centuries ago, that they feel that they were someone else in a previous life. Why? What purpose draws from this? It's killing time. More time kills us. We collect stuff. We fill our caves full of stuff. Another friend that unfortunately has had a lot of changes in her life. Recently posted that as they were cleaning, they found that they had a tool. I'm not going to identify the tool, doesn't matter. Several of which they just bought another one of and was totally unaware of what they had. That's how we accumulate stuff. We don't even know what we've got. We've got so much stuff. Our lives have become this stuff because we're trying to fill our lives with stuff and occupy time, kill our time, knowing that time is going to kill us, knowing the end result, sometimes being so heartbroken, so downtrodden, so depressed that we long for that time to kill us. We get tired. The reality of life can hit us. So we fill our lives full of distractions. Because reality, it's not an easy thing for a lot to handle. The reality of life, the certainties of life. We ignore the certainties of life by focusing on the uncertainties of life. We are caught up in our time, not their time, but our time, the time we live in. This is our time. The 20th century could have been my time. But I'm still here, so I'm in someone else's time. Millennials. A younger generation may say, oh, this is my time. But if I'm still here, how could it not be my time as well? Couldn't it be our time? Or is it specifically my time? We look at things in generations. And we always think that we are the top dogs. The Industrial Revolution came along. Yes, they felt it. Look at the progress we're making. Then the technological advancements were made in the 20th century. And yes, look what we've got. Who knows where it's going next, right? Just stuff. Because the end result comes out the same. I remember when us humans were on this race to space. Oh, we had the dreams of going to other planets, populating other worlds, that the universe is wide open. We get on this rocket, went to the moon. How exciting. New hope, new adventures. And then the reality hit me that if we can't resolve our problems here, we're not going to fare any better out there. We're not. There's no magic pill out there. No more than there's a magic pill here. The reality after thousands and thousands of years is no great God coming in to save us. I'm sorry. It hasn't happened. It's always in the future. It's always that carrot on the end of a stick. You got to die to reap the reward. But yet, you don't want to die. So we want the reward now. So we accumulate stuff. We distract ourselves from the reality of time killing us by the accumulation of stuff and distractions and looking for meaning and purpose, from the throwing of bones to the reading of tarot cards to going to churches and reading ancient writings and looking up to the heavens and saying, "Dear God, save me." And yet, regardless of what God you're saying, "Save me," or regardless of whether you're throwing bones or reading tarot cards or just a psychic, regardless of any of that, regardless of what choices you've made to throw your attention to for this hope, this purpose, the outcome's the same. The outcome's the same. You end up lying in the hospital bed next to someone else in the hospital bed, next to a room with someone else in the hospital bed, and none of you share the same God. None of you share the same focus of what you're looking for, except science. That's why you're in the hospital. That's why you go to the doctor. You're in the waiting room. This one's an atheist. That one's a Christian. That one's a Muslim. That one's a Hindu. But you're all gravitating, regardless of your prayers, regardless of your rituals. Where are you going for help? To science. Because deep down, you know. Deep down, you know you're just reaching for these other things because you don't have to face it. You don't want to have to deal with it. You know what the outcome is, so you just got to fill yourself full of this. Well, how many times I hear Christians say, I know where I'm going when I die. I look at him and say, I know where you're going to. You don't want to accept it, but I know where you're going. Same place I'm going. Same place we all go. Even your good book says where you're going. But you don't even want to accept what it says, do you? Of course you don't. It's amazing to me how many people who claim Christianity, who claim this book, who claim these belief systems, know so little about the beliefs they claim to hold. They don't want to know for the most part. It's too troublesome to get too detailed. It's just, I believe, I have faith. Because in the end, we're just filling time. Not really getting anywhere. It was written thousands of years ago. By whom, I don't know. Some claim they know, but they don't. It was written some thousands of years ago. The average lifespan of man was 70, 80 years. Thousands of years ago, before we had penicillin, before we had modern medical stuff. They had none of this stuff. Herbs. Average lifespan of man, 70, 80 years. Here we are today with all this modern medical. We got all this stuff. We're transplanting faces. Hands. People have hands attached. They've got hearts that belong to someone else. They got lungs that belong to someone else. They got kidneys that belong. Can I have a kidney, please? Can I borrow a kidney? We still have 70, 80 years. That's where we're still at. Because we're getting nowhere. And we don't like to accept that fact. We don't like to deal with that fact because we're missing the entire purpose of life. Because we're too busy looking for some purpose in some woo-woo fashion. And often, what we're buying into in these ideals of purposes and fulfillment of life, we're buying into is from ancient, more ignorant times. So you're saying that the people that lived hundreds of years ago were actually more attuned than we are? That they could get more out of throwing phones? Well, you can't really argue that, can you? Because the average lifespan was 70, 80 years. And with all the medical science we got now, the average lifespan is still 70, 80 years. The end result is we're caught in this bubble, this time, and we've got stuff. Our peripherals changed. I'm able to talk to you via this technology we call the internet, computers and digital cameras and all this wonderful stuff we've got, but it doesn't change. It doesn't change the big picture at all. It doesn't. This doesn't change. I could be sitting around a campfire in the middle of a forest having this conversation with a group of people just as easily as I'm sitting here, read the old classics of the philosophers, and it comes out the same. The only thing that's changed is the tools we use. Because we've really not progressed. You look at our political system, it's still just as screwy as it ever was. Go back and study history. The Roman Empire, the other great nations that came and went, and wow, it hasn't changed. The infights, the jealousies, the wars, the battles, the pandemics, the diseases, the hatred, the love, hasn't changed. Hasn't changed one bit. But we're so caught up in the peripheral that unfortunately we miss the moments of life. Oh, here we go. I've got to go to work. I gotta get to work. It's about money. I gotta get money. The necessary evil. Because it's designed that way for you. The trap to distract you from the realities of living. The trap to distract you from what pleasure you can really get out of life. Two tools are not there for your freedom, my friends. Two tools that majority of people are controlled by every day of their lives are not there for your freedom. They're not there to give you pleasure in life. They're there simply to control you and to keep you in line, to be in servitude of this system so that the system can maintain some kind of perceived order. Religion is not a tool of freedom. It's a tool of control, no matter what that religion is. A belief system, for which the acronym is BS, a belief system is just a tool to control behavior, to limit you, not to free you. Government is not there for freedom, it's there for control, to bring some kind of perceived order to society, because we are living together on this land and we've got to have some kind of order because we feel that we're above animals. Somehow we are better than our cousins, the great apes. Even though we pillage the planet, even though we destroy the planet, no fear, the planet's going to outlive us. It's around a long time before we got here. You're not going to destroy the planet with plastic, I'm sorry. You're not going to stop species from dying off. 99% of all species that lived on this planet have already gone extinct without any assistance from us egomaniacs, the humans. Because at the end of the day, we're egomaniacs. We're going to save the world. We can't save ourselves. In my role as a minister, people would say, "Oh, Kelsey, you're out saving souls." I would look and say, "What are you talking about? I'm saving souls. I can't save myself." How ignorant. I can't save myself. I can give you food for thought to maybe to help you fill your void of this time in a different way, to view life in a different way. I can't get you beyond death. I can't control your destiny. It's yours to control. That's the freedom you have. But you don't see it. You don't see that freedom at all. Because you're in this system. You're locked in tight in this system. You can't see your way out. Because I've got to have a new iPhone. I've got to have this. I've got to have that. And I've got to get to work. And you don't see that because we're so hooked on this stuff that we lose life because we live in fear of losing this stuff. Guess what? You're going to lose this stuff because you're going to lose your life. It's going to go away. All this stuff that we've got came from the earth. This computer screen, this camera, this plastic cup, these glasses. They did not magically appear from another planet, from someplace out of space. No, God, poof, put these out there and said, now you're healed, you can see. No, God did that. Some man manipulating the earth did this, and did this. It all came from this planet because we manipulated it. It's all going to go back right where it came from. It may take this longer to go back into the ground and become dirt again than this. This will deteriorate quicker, but it all is going to eventually. Guess what? You are too. You bet. Just like everything else. Even your Christian holy book, the Bible, says from dust you are, to dust you return. Poof, it's gone. 70, 80 years, if you're lucky. Every day there's someone that didn't make it to 20, there's somebody that didn't make it to 30. Somebody didn't make it to 40, somebody didn't make it to 50. And we whine, and we moan, and we complain as we allow ourselves to be trapped into the confines of what some men put together as some supposed order. This is the way we dress, because this is the way we dress. Men don't wear that. That's for women. Really? And we are blind as we go through and claim we're unique. Oh, I'm unique. Oh, if you are, right? Yeah, really? Tell me, how are you unique? In what way? In what way are you truly unique? You're not unique. You don't have to feel superior or unique to enjoy your life. But you can feel connected. You see, it's all about energy. 100% about energy. We are a ball of energy. It's all about energy. Electricity is nothing really new. We just learned how to harness it. It was always coming from the skies in the form of lightning bolts. There's energy's been here. It's all about energy. Different strengths of energy, different forms of energy, but it's all about energy. Where life's coming from, it's energy. We build these concepts that are basically bullshit. Like life itself, like birth. We celebrate birthdays. Or someone will have a baby. Oh, my beautiful baby, what a gift from God. I say, a gift from God? Did God fuck you? Did God get you pregnant? No, you had sexual relations with somebody. They shot sperm inside you. You conceived. Did you ever, on your birthday, stop and thank your parents for having sex? Unprotected sex. On the date that they did, at the moment they did, because a deviance of time by any moment, you would not be you. You're you because it happened at that moment. That's the gift you are. You're a gift of unprotected sex at a particular time and space on this planet. But man's ego won't allow us to accept realities, even though in the Christian Holy Book it states it pretty freaking clear. Sarah couldn't conceive a male child, so what does she do? Abraham, take my slave girl, screw her. She'll have you a male child. You gotta have this male child. Wasn't a gift from God. It was like it's a gift from Sarah saying, take my slave girl. It's in the Bible. Lot. Sodom and Gomorrah. God turns Lot's wife into a pillar of salt because she looks back to see her house burning. Lot's wandered up the hill, found a cave to sleep in. Somehow the other daughters must have grabbed some wine before they left the house, because they looked at dear old Dad and said, Mom's gone. Dad ain't got no son to inherit because it's definitely a man's world. God didn't give him a child. God didn't give him a son. No, the daughters had to get Dad drunk, fuck him, and have his sons. It's in the Bible. But we want to put this hocus pocus bullshit on everything instead of dealing with reality. Even though the reality is in the Holy Book itself. Even though the reality is spelled out there itself. We don't want to deal with that. We don't want to deal with the concept that we're buying bullshit from A to fucking B, and we're missing out on life because all we're doing is trying to kill time. Missing out on life as time whacks away second by second by second. We wake up and we refrain from doing this, we refrain from doing that. We lost out on the pleasure of this and the freedom of that because of bullshit. A lot of which was imposed by men long dead. We bought the bullshit. We missed out. Because, you can't do that. Why? Because it was written long ago you don't do that. You can't do this. You've got to conform. You've got to fit in. And then all the clones of society looking, if you dare to exercise your freedom of being a free human being, a free being, you'll have all the clones, the brainwashed fools out there say, you see that? Look at that idiot over there. They'll be peeking out their windows looking down the street. I can't believe what he's up to now. Did you see the way she dressed? Did you see the way he dressed? Is he gay? Who cares? Walk through an old cemetery from the oldest graves you can find and look at where these remains of people that have turned to dust that once walked this very land of your own. Does it matter how they dressed? Does it matter how they groomed themselves? Does it matter how they lived their lives? Outside of a few that show up in a historical book, which is a very few, this means nothing. You are all you've got. This is your life. It's not theirs. It's not theirs. I tell when I do these weddings, mothers and aunts want to impose their will upon the couple. Oh, you've got to do it this way, my dear. I tell the bride, it's like you need to tell your mom, she had her wedding. This is your day, not hers. The same. This is your life, not theirs. You're allowing culture, religion, and government to control your time, and at the end of the day, what are they going to do? Oh, a dead hero, they're going to drape a flag over your fucking corpse in a coffin and praise you at a time where you'll never, what? It's your life, live it. The constraints of society, the constraints of religion, the constraints of government. There's no freedom in any of those things. There's no freedom in it. It's false hope. The whole thing is false hope. Almost 1 million on our soil here in the United States of America. Almost 1 million fathers, sons, brothers killing each other over false hope, over some false sense of some fucking patriotism. Poof, gone. Lives wiped out. 20 years of age, 18 years of age. For what? For a line of demarcation. For control over people. That's what it is, control over people. Yes, there are certain things that should not happen. But they happen. There's going to be bad people. Laws have not stopped bad people. Laws are a failure. Punishment's a failure. It is. Because it hasn't stopped anything. If laws worked, there'd be no murders. If laws worked, there'd be no texting and driving. If laws worked, and the threat of punishment worked, there'd be no rape. There'd be no robberies, thefts, carjackings. All those things are illegal, but they happen every day. Murders happen every day. If you're in where I live, Alabama, look at AL.com. A not heavily populated state. Our biggest town in Alabama don't have 500,000 people in it. Look at the murders. But it's against the law. We put people to death. We lock them up forever. And it still happens. They passed texting and driving. Oh, come on. If you're not texting and driving yourself, how many of you see people texting and driving every day? It's all a joke, people. It's all a fraud to control your life. Somebody, I saw something earlier tonight, that said something to the effect, let me think of what it was, that those who are appreciated do more. I disagree with that. Because I don't always feel appreciated, but it's just in my nature to do more. I've done more for people that never appreciated it. And see, this is the false narrative that you've been given. This reward, punishment thing. Oh, you're appreciated. That's the reward. So it's going to make you do more. That's where this stuff comes from. See? Here, I'm going to reward you. No. Good does good regardless of the reward. See? Good does good, not because there's a law. You see? Not because there's a reward. A good person, if you will, does good regardless of a reward, regardless of appreciation. It's a bullshit story. And you fed these lines of bullshit all the time. Religion and government have convinced you someone had to fight, someone had to die for your freedom, for your salvation. Oh, they get that bullshit all the time. They got a whole billions of people buying that bullshit. Not in our nation. Why is it if that's true? I woke up one day and I studied. It's like, wow, we got less freedoms today than I had when I was a kid. Who died and fought for I got less freedom. It's not, do the math. It's not freedom. And then you study, you get into the Bible, you get into where this book came from, a theological viewpoint, and Christianity is saying that someone had to die for your salvation. Really, what kind of God is going to require his own son to lay down his life for someone who, that's the best that God can do? And people ritualistically, symbolically drink the blood and eat the flesh. What? And we're intelligent people? And we buy this bullshit? Because you're being controlled. The whole narrative of that book, starting in the very first part of it, was the restriction of knowledge. Of all the trees in the garden, eat their fruit, but this one tree. What was that tree? Tree of the knowledge of good and bad. Restrict that knowledge. That's why today it's no longer considered a good thing to have higher education. I never thought. I pursued because I thought knowledge was important, and now I'm looked down on because I got knowledge. I'm looked down on because I studied and I got knowledge. Jeez. Better to be stupid. But that was the whole narrative of Christianity and the Jewish tradition from the beginning. Keep these people dumb. We can control them better. Let me handle it. That's why the Bible was kept in Latin and the average person couldn't read it for eternity. Why? Because that's my job to tell you what it means. God forbid you think for yourself. You don't have that. I have that. That was imparted to me by the great gods. Bingo. So there you have it, folks. So stop this day, March Day, 2021. Why are you doing what you're doing? Think about that all day long. Make the changes that you can make to fill your time. Because that's all you've got is your time. You get a new car, you can get a new house, you get a new wife, get a new boyfriend, you can get new clothes. Some of you might be able to grow new hair. But you can't get your time back. The only thing you've got is your time. So you should be asking yourself, why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I doing this shit? Why am I buying this shit? Start doing your time. Because time is going to kill you. You know what the end result is. Regardless of what carrot on the end of a stick you may buy into, whether you think you're going to spend eternity in heaven or be reincarnated or whatever the fuck you think you're going to be in that eternity, what you do know is you got this block of time and it's ticking away. Moment by moment by moment. Tick, tick, tick. Now, this 45 minutes that I've spoken, it's already history because that time has passed. Peace.